Dave Chappelle, for some, can be labeled as the freest black man in America. He can say what he wants, he has managed to find support from all social backgrounds, and according to reports, he's worth $60 million. Former boxer Jack Johnson moved as a free black man in his day, but he couldn't hold a crowd with his words like Chappelle. In light of this freedom, what will make a man who has every opportunity to stay out of an environment that is attached to his and his family's trauma return to Hollywood, a cesspool of insecurities and surface-based smiles? Why would Chappelle leave the obvious pitfalls of Hollywood, but years later find himself back in the line that once left him broken? In 2004, during the filming of season 3 of his successful sketch series Chappelle's Show, Dave Chappelle would abruptly leave his show behind to help save his sanity, according to him. "I want to make sure I'm dancing, not shuffling." The pressures of Hollywood that black entertainers face are nothing new. Chappelle would even point them out during an interview with Oprah back in 2006, a year after he would reportedly have his breakdown. Chappelle would reference Martin Lawrence's breakdown in May of 1996, where Lawrence was detained by police after he was seen waving a gun and yelling, "Fight the establishment," at passing cars. What would drive this star, known for his high spirits, to a mental breakdown? One of the most used sayings white racists have used towards blacks is, "Well, if it's so bad in America, why don't you leave and go back to Africa?" And in fairness, that can be seen as a valid question. What keeps some of us still here when we know there could be better conditions for us as a collective? Is it the fear of the unknown, or the comfort we've acquired here despite our toxic relationship with this country? In the 18th century, I tell you the things I can do here, which I can't at home. Think, eat, sleep, laugh. I'm an introspective dude. I enjoy my own thoughts sometimes, and I've been doing a lot of thinking here. There were things that overwhelmed me, but not in the way that people are saying. I haven't spent any of the money. All that stuff about partying and taking crack is not true. Why do I live on a farm in Ohio? To support my partying lifestyle? If you don't have the right people around you and you're moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, you can lose yourself. Everyone around me says you're a genius, you're great, that's your voice, but I'm not sure that they're right. You gotta be careful of the company you keep. It's hard to know how much to say. One of the things that happens when people make the leap from a certain amount of money to tens of millions of dollars is that the people around you dramatically change. During my ascent, I've seen other people go through the wall to become really big. They always said that fame didn't change them, but that it changes the people around them. You always hear that, but you never really understand it. But now that I'm there, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm learning what that means. You have to have people around you that you can trust and aren't just out for a meal ticket. You see, this report on Chappelle's departure reveals the ugly truth about Hollywood and America. The industry can abuse you and call you crazy for wanting to leave. I would go to work on the show and I felt awful every day. That's not the way it was. I felt like some kind of prostitute or something. If I feel so bad, why keep on showing up to this place? I'm going to Africa. The hardest thing to do is to be true to yourself, especially when everybody is watching. It would take a moment for him to jump back into the entertainment spotlight following his trip to Africa. Now, after his return, Chappelle would begin a press run, a part of the promotion for his 2005 film, Dave Chappelle's Block Party.
Chappelle's Block Party will be available June 13th on DVD. Please welcome Dave Chappelle. Talk about here. I haven't seen you in a long time. First of all, what have you been up to? What's Dave Chappelle been doing?
Nothing. Nice try, Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Now, I don't normally do this, but it was Jessica Simpson. I said, let me just see, what's going on. So I went up, I'm like, hi, Jessica Simpson. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, my name's Dave Chappelle. She was like, I know who you are. And I was like, I knew it, bitch. I didn't say that to her.
While speaking with Conan, those paying attention would catch a reason why someone like Chappelle couldn't escape the industry. If Chappelle, like most celebrities, craves the attention and recognition, nowhere like home can compare to the amount of attention he garners. When speaking to Time magazine back in 2005 while in Africa, he would express his nonchalantness about fame, but also while expressing an eagerness to remain relevant. Times magazine writer Christopher John Farley would share this in his Chappelle interview. He says that he's only been recognized 5 or 6 times in the 2 weeks he's been here. It happens so sporadically that when it does, it freaks me out because I have to remember, oh yeah, I'm famous. At the end of our interview/photo shoot, an American woman does recognize him. Number 7, he cries, "Wow, I'm not that big in Africa. I've got to do an action film here." Since he was 14 years old, Chappelle has gotten attention for his comedic performances. You see, scholars have went on to confirm that all humans require some sort of attention. At the end of the day, Chappelle has been able to turn the attention he gets into a profitable business, and his economical obligations can be viewed as another factor as to why he returned and stayed. The challenge of taking your business overseas to a foreign market can be risky. What comedy material could he use for African audiences as an American? How would the language barriers affect his business infrastructure? He would essentially have to start all over and learn how to thrive in a new market. Now, in an interview with Naomi Campbell back in 2021, Chappelle would express his interest in doing more shows in Africa and even open a comedy club in a place like Ghana. In that same interview, he would go on to admit that he did have doubts on how the audiences there would respond to him, hinting that again the financial risk could be a barrier. But he would end up telling Naomi that he was surprised how fast he was able to sell tickets for a show he did in South Africa. And like he revealed during an interview with Joe Rogan, the craft of comedy is also what kept him to come back.
I don't take this money for granted, this platform, and I'm not talking about the fame platform, I'm talking about comedy, this genre. Like, it's been so good for me.
A permanent relocation to Africa could have hindered his earnings, potentially impacting the lifestyle he wanted to provide for his family. In recent times, more Black people have decided that their comfort in the States is not worth the true validation they seek, so they have made the leap by returning to the lands of their forefathers. In an interview with Oprah, Stevie Wonder would reveal his plans to move to Ghana, and his reasons would echo a sentiment many feel.
Because I want to see this nation smile again.
Oh.
And I want to see it before I leave to travel to move to Ghana.
You're gonna move permanently to Ghana?
I am.
You are? Why?
Because I don't want to